Now 12th class for economics. I am discussing sources of human capital formation, and this is the source education. That is on page number 5.4. So that question can come: how education contribute to economic growth? What is economic growth? Economic growth means if there is economic growth, that means more income generated in the economy, more goods and services produced in the economy with the same resources, or resources can be also increased in the terms of economic growth. So when education contributes to economic growth, how they contribute? The answer of this question is given over there, that education increases the capacity of the people. It increases the standard of living of the people, choices for the people, knowledge for the people, and it stimulates innovation. New researches can be there if education is there, and it facilitates adoption of new technology. When the person are educated, then they used to adopt new technology, new things easily, comparatively illiterate person. So that is the next is expenditure on health. Health is also a very important part. So there is a proper expenditure on health required for human capital formation. Health, basically expenditure on health is a very important source of human capital formation. Here the things are there that you have to discuss that. Here are the points which tells that how expenditure on health contributes for human capital formation. If the proper expenditure on health is incurred by the government or by the people, then the people will maintain productivity. It increases the productivity of the labor. It maintains the productivity of the labor, and qualitative improvement in human capital formation can be possible when adequate food and proper nourishment is there. There is a adverse effect on the quality of manpower if there is a poor health or undernourishment. So all these point says that expenditure on health is important for human capital formation. Now, forms of health expenditure. How can you spend on health expenditure? Like, first of all, you can spend on preventive medicines like vaccination, and there is a proper immunization program by the government for all the children, and that is also very least cost when you go to government hospital. And otherwise for the other people also, there is a proper amount fixed for the vaccine, all those injections, all those medicines which is required as a preventive medicine. There is a curative medicine, that is the so there is this type of medicine involved, that there is a medical intervention during illness. Suppose a person is suffering from some disease, then medicine is there for that person. So that is a curative medicine. Like he is suffering from sugar or some other disease, then the curative medicine available means medicines for sugar available in the country. That is a curative medicine. Social medicine, that is the spread of health literacy. Like in today's time, and because this is a global disease like COVID-19 is there, and people are not aware about this people are not aware about this disease, because this is the first time that it came. So social medicine has been used by the government. Everywhere you can see there is a proper announcement, there is a proper expenditure for spreading the news, spreading the information about the COVID-19, and there is a app also started by the government. So expenditure done by the government for social medicine in this way. That question can be asked: give the example of social medicine, give the example of curative medicine, give the example of preventive medicine. Then you have to write like this. In vaccination, you can write down the immunization program by the government or some other program if you know. Or curative medicine, if the person is suffering from some disease, you can say about sugar, BP, or some you can say that dengue likewise. So there is a curative medicine for that. Social medicine, suppose there is a spread of any pandemic like dengue. Dengue was also pandemic in the last 2 years. Swine flu is there, and then COVID-19 is there. So government has to spend lots of expenditure to spread the information about these particular diseases. Provision for clean drinking water, definitely, and good sanitation facilities. These two things can also avoid all type of diseases. So these are the expenditure. These are the form of health expenditure done by the government. Fine. And NGOs also. On the job training. So what is this? That on the job training, basically in on the job training, that is for the workers. This may take different forms, like the worker may be trained in the firm itself under the supervision of a skilled worker, and the other one, worker may be sent for off campus training. And in both these three cases, in both the above cases, firm incurs some expenses, and firm insists that the worker should work for a specific period of time, and after that on the job training, during which it can recover the benefits of the enhanced productivity owing to the training. Expenditure regarding on the job training is a source of human capital formation, as a return of such expenditure in form of enhanced labor productivity is more than the cost of it. So firm always insist workers to go for on the job training so that their productivity will be enhanced. That is a return for the firm, and firm used to spend the expenditure. In today's time also, if you join a multinational corporation, then they provide you employment, and then they provide you training also. When the multinational corporation pick up the students from the universities or colleges, then these multinational corporation always offered some programs to these students to carry on their studies, to carry on their some type of training. Training is always there. In all type of work, training is also there. If it is a good and proper institute, then training must be there. Likewise, we're talking about the school, then the training session is always there in the school. There might be more than 40 I say training session can be during the year, and this time so that is more and more, because on the line everything is provided online. So CBSE is also providing online training for everything, and school is also doing their effort. So that is why on the job training is very important from the point of view of worker. And the return expenses done by the firm, and return is labor productivity. And what is the source? Basically the source of human capital formation, that is the expenditure regarding on the job training. जो भी on the job training पे खर्चा किया जाता है, that is the source of human capital formation. ठीक है, ये आप यहाँ मेंशन करोगे. देखो, ऑन द जॉब ट्रेनिंग का थोड़ा सा और बताया जाए तो ऑन द जॉब ट्रेनिंग का मतलब आप जॉब कर रहे हो, लेकिन आपको मीनवाइल ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही है ताकि आपकी प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज़ हो. ठीक है, ताकि आप साथ काम कर सको, साथ उसको सीख सको. ठीक है. Now the next thing is expenditure on migration. Migration means going from one place to another. Suppose जैसे आप रूरल एरिया में रहते हो, now you want to shift to city, so that is a migration. एक सिटी से दूसरी सिटी में जाना चाहते हो, that is a migration. So people migrate in search of job that give them higher salary than what they may get in their native places. Native मतलब जहाँ वो रहते हैं, उन places पे रहते हैं, उससे ज़्यादा मिले. That's why they shift from one place to another. All type of people migrate, like technical, qualified people, unemployed, unskilled people. They also migrate to learn the things, to do the experiment, to earn more. Unemployment is the basic reason why the people migrate. Rural-urban migration in India. Basically, all type of people migrate, as I told you. And here that migration in both these cases involve cost of transport, higher cost of living in the migrated places, and that is basically the cost of living. So they are to bear the cost of transportation if they are migrating from one place to another. Higher cost of living when they are migrating. So that is a very important source of human capital formation in terms of these costs. Fine. Next is expenditure or information. So expenditure or information is a very important source of human capital formation. Like information is everything, data is everything nowadays, as you are noticing around you. People spend to acquire information relating to labor market, other market like education, health, and like other sector. So people want to know the level of salary, what the others are getting, what the job related to them the people are getting, and whether the education institution provide the right type of employable skills at what cost. This information is necessary to make decision regarding investment in human capital formation. So efficient use of money everybody want. So that is the expenditure incurred for acquiring information relating to the labor market. Another market is also a source of human capital formation. So this is all these expenditure on human capital formation. What is the difference between human capital and physical capital? That is also a very important question. So physical capital, first of all discuss what is physical capital. That is the Physical capital includes all those inputs which are required for further production, like building, land, factory, which can be tangible also. And in terms of human capital, what is human capital? That is the stock of skill, ability, expertise, education, knowledge that is in the people. So that is the human capital. So now the difference is there. It is better to go for the difference from the NCERT that is given on the 86th page. So as per the human capital and physical, there is a difference between human and physical capital. Difference is started that physical capital is tangible, you can see, touch, but human capital is intangible. You cannot feel, you just can feel, you cannot see and touch. Fine. So in the case of human capital, that is given over there. Physical capital need not to be present. There it is written. Likewise, you cannot separate human capital from its owner, but you can separate physical capital from its owner. This is the difference given over there, one difference. And the two forms of capital are different mobility across spaces. Like it is easy to mobile, it is easy to shift physical capital, but it's not easy to shift human capital due to culture and nationalities. So physical capital formation can be built even through imports, but human capital formation is to be done through conscious policy formulation with the nature of society, economy, and expenditure by the state and individual both. So that is given over there. This is more explanatory in NCERT comparatively book. Both forms of capital depreciate with time, but the nature of depreciation different between the two. Like depreciation means decrease in the value. So physical capital, there is a decrease in the value of physical capital definitely. That is depreciation due to technology, passage of time, and other factor. But in the case of human capital, depreciation is there with the aging. When the people are getting aged, then they definitely their productivity has been depreciated, because when they were young, then definitely they are with more productivity. When they become old, then productivity decreases due to age. But that can be reduced through the expenditure on education, health. So that can be reduced to large extent by doing that. And the investment on education and health, that can also helpful for continuous expenditure by the government or by the individual on like innovations, like spreading the information among the people. So definitely these expenditure to the large extent decrease the depreciation in the way that they are getting benefit with the new inventions in terms of health, education, and information. And next thing is that benefit of human capital is for both private and social. There is a private and social benefit from the point of view of human capital. But in case of physical capital, the benefit is only private benefit, and the benefit this is a benefit from capital good flow to these and who pay the price for the product that has been produced with the help of physical capital. So this is the difference given over there with more explanation. You can go through with this NCERT, and it is also given in the Sandeep Garg, that is on the page number 5.2, physical capital and human capital. Now the human capital and economic growth. So economic growth definitely related to human capital. If there is a proper human capital formation in the country, definitely economic growth is there for that country. And for that, but for achieving this, government has to spend, or individual has to spend for education. So that is the contribution of an educated person is more than the illiterate person in all the ways. Now the healthy person can also contribute in a better way with the comparatively the person who is not healthy, who is ill. So both the education and health definitely contributes for human capital formation. And there are many factors also should be there, like on the job training, job market information, migration. That is also important, but the very very important factor is education and health. You cannot deny the importance of education and health in case of human capital formation. Now human capital formation promotes invention, innovations, and technological improvement. Definitely when the human capital formation is there, means people are more skilled, they are more educated, they are more healthy, then in this way they can contribute for more innovation, technological improvement in this case. ठीक है, तो education provides knowledge to understand the change in society, scientific advancement and facilitate invention and innovation. Similarly, if there is a educated labor force, also they also contribute for the adoption of new technology, because the people are educated, then they can easily understand the new things. When the new things will be easy for them, then they definitely adopt them. But for illiterate person, it is very difficult to understand the new things. That is why they are more adamant. They don't want any change.